For Australia's most wanted man and his accomplice, crime reporter Judy Allen says the big question is the woman safe? Judy.
Well, Terry, investigators fear Abbott and his partner Brendan Bereshon will do anything to keep their freedom. And they say it's possible the woman thought to be travelling with them may not have known the type of men she'd taken up with and could now be too scared to escape.
Police only discovered the woman's involvement after last week's shooting of 2 Melbourne policemen, believed to have been gunned down by Brendan Bereshon, Brendan Abbott's young protégé.
We've got 2 very dangerous people out there on the run. If she's still with them, she may be at risk.
The woman is of Thai background, thought to have been living with Abbott and Bereshon in the rented home they fled after the shootings. Her photograph found in Bereshon's belongings. Neighbours have been unable to help.
So do you recognise her at all?
No, I haven't seen her at all.
Investigators suspect both Abbott and Bereshon change their looks on an almost daily basis. Disguises were worn during WA's biggest ever bank hold-up at Mirrabooka in December. Another possibility, say police, after the shootings, Abbott may have parted company with Bereshon.
And I don't think he'd want to be held back by a liability such as what Bereshon is to him at the moment.
Judy Allen, National 9 News.
Channel 9 Perth, this is National 9 News with Dixie Marshall and Michael Thompson.
Tonight, notorious bandit and jail escapee Brendan Abbott has been recaptured in Darwin. A police bus. But first, notorious bank robber Brendan Abbott has been recaptured in Darwin. Abbott was arrested outside a Darwin supermarket by members of the Territory Response Group. He was allegedly armed with a pistol at the time, but no shots were fired during his arrest. Brendan Abbott has been on the run for 6 months. He broke out of a Queensland jail under the cover of shotgun fire along with 4 others in November. He's been to Perth since his escape, responsible for the almost $500,000 hold-up at this bank in Mirrabooka. Last week there were reports he was headed back here in the company of an unnamed Asian woman and an accomplice, Brendan Bereshon. Police in Victoria were chasing Bereshon. He'd shot at 2 of them in another brazen getaway. It's believed Bereshon and Abbott had been holed up in a Carlton terrace for months. There have been numerous sightings of Abbott around Australia over the past few days. This week, in Brisbane, the 4 men who broke out of jail with Abbott were being tried in Brisbane. Next week, Abbott's brother is to appear in court in Perth. Abbott is thought to have hundreds of thousands of dollars hidden away from a lifetime of crime. He broke out of Fremantle jail in the 80s. Tonight, he is being held in strict security by Darwin police.
Booker branch of the Commonwealth Bank. Last month, Abbott fled from this Melbourne home with criminal accomplice Brendan Bereshon. Bereshon is wanted over the shooting of 2 Victorian police officers, and both Bereshon and Abbott are suspects in 2 recent armour guard heists. A guard was shot in one of them. A nationwide alert has been issued for Abbott, who over a decade has taunted authorities by repeated escapes and sending back photos of himself while on the run. Abbott was caught a short time ago at a Darwin supermarket, police acting on a tip-off. It's believed he had a gun, but it was not used. John McCourt, 7 Nightly News.
Heading the late news, Australia's most wanted man, Brendan James Abbott, back behind bars.
Wanted criminal Brendan James Abbott is back behind bars. Police have set up roadblocks all around Darwin as they hunt his accomplice, Brendan Bereshon. The convicted bank robber was taken without a struggle outside a Darwin laundromat late this afternoon.
After nearly 6 months on the run, Brendan James Abbott is back behind bars. The convicted bank robber was captured outside a laundromat in Darwin. While he was believed to be armed with a pistol, no shots were fired.
We believe that Abbott arrived here under his own steam by motor vehicle.
Police set up roadblocks around Darwin 2 days ago after Abbott was first sighted in North Queensland near the Northern Territory border.
At a motel in the city. It is our belief that the room was booked for him by Brendan Bereshon.
Bereshon is still at large, wanted for the attempted murder of 2 police officers in Victoria last month.
Bereshon is still in town. He's considered very dangerous. He's known to have a drug habit, and his activities are quite erratic.
Abbott will go down in history as one of Australia's most elusive criminals. He began his life of crime in 1987, netting more than $4 million from a suspected 38 bank robberies. He's been captured twice, escaping both times. The first in 1989 from Fremantle Prison, the second late last year from Wacol in Brisbane. Then Abbott broke out with 4 other criminals. All have now been recaptured. Lyndall Davies, 10 News.
Complete surprise. Brendan Abbott back behind bars, arrested at gunpoint in Darwin. Here are Abbott's tools of trade: 2 handguns, police scanners, wigs, a stack of cash and false identities used to keep one step ahead of police for 6 months. Abbott was spotted only an hour before his dramatic arrest. He was doing his washing at a Darwin laundromat.
They've all jumped out of the car. They've just gone on the ground.
Abbott had no idea he was about to be sprung.
He definitely was in a state of shock because he certainly wasn't expected to be apprehended in Darwin.
Darwin last night, a city on alert. Abbott was safely locked away, but his travelling partner, Brendan Bereshon, was nowhere to be seen. Police jumping on anyone fitting Bereshon's description.
Lie on your stomach. Don't move again. Do you
Police
understand?
on edge, this time a case of mistaken identity. Police even used a stun grenade to clear a Darwin hotel room where they thought Bereshon was hiding. The room was empty. Bereshon is wanted for the shooting of 2 Victorian police. He's travelling with a Thai woman called Michelle. Police say Bereshon is the kind of fugitive who won't hesitate to shoot. And they say he's still here somewhere in the Darwin area.
You have a warning for anyone?
Charges. Tonight, Abbott is in strict security in Darwin. He's been remanded in custody to reappear in court on Tuesday.
For Abbott to leave Australia. In the end, Australia's most wanted man gave up peacefully.
One of his requests has been for us to retrieve his laundry in the dryer.
Now, right now, there are police in Darwin scouring for Brendan Bereshon. He's still on the run, and potentially he's more dangerous than Brendan Abbott because he's wanted for shooting police in Victoria. So as much as police here are excited and happy with the recapture of Brendan Abbott, the intense manhunt here in Darwin is far from over. From here, it's back to you, Paula.
Thanks, Howard. Howard Gretton in Darwin. WA's most infamous fugitive came unstuck by one simple phone call, a call from the hotel room of Abbott's partner in crime, marking the beginning of the end of a nationwide manhunt.
The Roebuck Hotel in the heart of Broome. Abbott's accomplice Brendan Bereshon had checked in under a false name earlier this week, believed accompanied by his Thai girlfriend.
No, they actually they asked not to have the room serviced. The housemaids were asked to just hand towels in through the door.
Then the mistake which blew months on the run for Abbott, a call from Bereshon's hotel room giving police a vital lead, a lead which brought Abbott's run to an end.
It was just quick acting on behalf of the local detectives. They got a trace on a phone call from the lady involved, and they traced it back here, and he was going to check in for another night and got a phone call to his room and did a runner.
Police now believe Bereshon is somewhere in the Northern Territory, his mother today pleading to her son to give himself up.
I can't see any use of going on the way you are. It can only get worse. So, for all our sakes, just surrender.
While Bereshon is still at large, WA police are happy with their involvement in a nationwide effort to catch Abbott.
How does it feel? Very pleasing. I mean, Mr. Abbott is a dangerous person, and it's very pleasing to have him back.
It's yet another chapter in Abbott's extraordinary criminal career. Abbott will continue his long prison sentence in Queensland before any return to WA. And this response if Abbott is now behind bars for good.
I wouldn't like to be the person in charge of the prison he got out from next time. I think, he will be placed under very close scrutiny.
2 detectives from the armed robbery squad will fly to Darwin tomorrow to interview Abbott. Now, they'll be waiting in line with police from at least 3 other states with questions about Abbott's activities over the past 5 months. John McCourt, 7 Nightly News.